right now I do have a 1-to-4 risk reward. So I've reduced my stop loss into profit here, but I really need to be patient to get these big juicy positions. Took the trade off the table here, a little over 3,000. Really good out of the gate. In this video, I'm going to take you through an entire day of my live trading. I'm going to take you inside the indicators and strategies that I use, as well as the entries and the full-time real management of each trade. Okay, I've been day trading for nearly 8 years now. I like to do these live trade videos to show you what we're working on our trading team and to show you the realities of being a trader and taking trades in real time. And obviously, one of the most requested topics is live trading. So today I'm going to be using my normal risk profile. And if all goes to plan, I should be able to hit my daily profit goal, but we're going to see what happens. I'm going to take you through my whole day. It's about 9:30 right now. Markets are just opening up. So I'm going to get set up and then we'll find our first trade. All right, so I'm a little late to get the video started here today. I'm already live in a position. You can see I'm up about $1,200. 9:30 open level was here. On my left here, I have a trading view account. This is where I'm doing all of my analysis. Over here, I have my broker. And then over here, I have my trade journal. And then here on the left, I have an economic calendar. This is basically showing me all of the important news events for the day and other scanners. I'm sort of tracking separate metrics over there. Wow, this is pushing like crazy already. I'll get into explaining this trade here in a second. Once I get everything set up, what I'm doing is going over to like a 4-hour time frame. And I'm going to take a look at the analysis for the day in the market. And since I'm trading crypto, I'm going to be watching for Bitcoin. So I'm trying to get an overall idea of where we are in this Bitcoin trend. Now, it seems like price is coming back up to retest this level. Now, if you notice, price is sort of starting to break up over this level. Generally, we're bullish. Okay, so if price is to break this low here, I'm going to switch my bias to short. If price holds this level and breaks over this next level, I'm going to be looking to long into the day. And I'm actually already looking to play some momentum. So I want to get an idea of what's generally going on. What I'm looking for trading strategy today is basically areas where we have trends developing. I'm going to wait for one of these trends to break. I'm looking at some other proprietary indicators that I can't talk about on YouTube, but for the most part, I'm waiting for price to leave behind these sort of boxes, which you can see here and here. I'm going to be using some sort of discretion to pick which trades I should be getting into. Okay, like I said, I'm already long here. All right, so trade one, first thing out of the gate. Okay, you can notice this gray area right here is showing our 9:30 area. Okay, so when 9:30 opens, New York stock market opens, and then price starts to move around like crazy. So this is where I was expecting volatility. As I was getting set up for the session, okay, I noticed that this area was being tested and I wanted to get long down here. So I entered a position a little bit before I started filming, like I said, but we have that push out of this trend into this candle with support here. So if this is to break over this high level, it looks like we're getting some volatility for the day. We could push up fairly high. These levels should be some sort of an issue, but I'm looking for this to potentially trend for the rest of the session if we get some bullish sentiment. So I'm long here. I've reduced my risk down to break even now. So I basically can't lose any money. And if the market wants to keep running, then I'm just going to sort of trend follow this all the way up. And we're going to see how trade number one plays out. And then we'll try to look for other trades and I'll explain it along the way. So now I'm just sort of trend following this trade. I want to let this sort of run on itself. The thing about this style of trading is if the market just wants to run for the rest of the session, I can stay long and just sit here and I have a really good entry right out of that initial morning volatility. Obviously, as you let things play out a little bit more, price can sell off and then you can waste your entire time. Basically, but that's the reality of trading is you kind of have to keep yourself open to be able to have the upside. So right now I do have a 1-to-4 risk reward. So I've reduced my stop loss into profit here, but I really need to be patient, even if this is to go all the way back to zero to get these big juicy positions. So I'm just going to keep trend following this and keep letting this sort of play out. Right now what I'm doing is just setting an alert basically up into profit because I want to make sure that I move my take profit. I have it at 158 right now. And sometimes I'll leave my take profit. The market will move really drastically and I'll be changing my analysis. And then I'll leave the order price at the same price on the exchange and it will get me out even if I want to stay in, which is frustrating. So I'm trying not to do that. Basically, the next thing that we have to look for now, if we kind of scroll out, we have these high levels right here kind of being tested now. So we just got support off the overside of that. So maybe we get momentum, but we really need like a clean break. And if we can break and test it into this fair value gap and keep moving up, this is going to be a great sign. Right now we're in this high impact area, which is going to be hard to break through. So obviously need a big push. Technically we're at a resistance level. So I wouldn't be surprised to see market pull back here, but now we're far from our entry. We got to let this sort of fundamentally drive us a little bit and then we can hopefully get a nice big move. I'm going for glory today. Going for the big one, the big ones, brother. Wow. Wow, big move. Like I predicted here, we kind of got a response off of that fair value gap, and now we're getting a big push up. But technically, with my strategy, I'm tempted to reduce risk here, but at this point, I actually want to let this trade play out. If we get momentum into the entire day from here, then basically maybe I can take only one trade. If we get a full sell-off back down to my take profit and stops me off for break even, that's also, and I'll just continue with my trading session for the day. I've already eliminated risk off the table. Now it's just about letting this sort of play out a little. I can definitely picture this coming back down to my original position level though. Coming all the way back down to test this lower trend level. Sometimes if you're going to try to swing for the fences, it's going to come all the way back on you. It could still continue to play out to fruition. I've seen these before where they comes all the way down and then, you have to be able to hold through it, but probability is lower now. So we're going to see what happens with this trade still. Not super hopeful. Looks like we could get continued momentum to the downside, but never know. So now we did get a response off of this lower trend level that I was anticipating in this sort of consolidation. So if price wants to come back down and break lower than this, I'm off the table. I'm going to lock in probably around $500, $600, which is one risk factor for me doing this. Otherwise, we're going to let this play out and see if this can break above highs again. But I'm being super standoffish with this just because the markets are, like I said, so volatile. And I'm just going to sort of cruise and see if we can hit a banger. I'm trying so hard to not take this trade off the table because right now I'm feeling like I should take it off the table because it's having troubles moving. But I've done this so many times where I take the trade off too early and then it just goes. Just took the trade off the table here. Overall, there's a bearish sentiment in the market for Solana and it's just holding on to this level. So I'm sure I can continue trading higher, but I was able to get like almost 7 risk factors out. So risking 500, a little over 3,000. Really good out of the gate to start my day. So right now I'm going to get a cup of coffee. I was like late to the session today and we're going to log this trade and then look for trade number 2. So looking for trade number 2, this was the previous trend that we were just trading. So price action started to sort of fizzle off a little bit, come back down, move up into this resistance level. I'm looking for this level to be broken and then come up and test this level one more time before potentially making a move to the downside. This isn't like 100% a clean setup necessarily. It's not an A+ setup, but it is a setup that I would love to get into if it wants to work out. So we'll let this develop a little bit. We're going to see if we can get a push down, then a push up into our entry. We got that break. Now we just need a retest and we can get into our trade. So that level was broken, giving us that change of character. Now we need to push up. All right, so getting a beautiful move now. I ended up adjusting my order because originally I was only in like 400 units. I think it was just a mistake I made on my order input, but I'm in, we're up about 1,700 right now, moving in our position. We've reduced stop loss back down to break even. So if this comes up and wants to stab up back into this level, I'm going to have to take out for break even, but we're up 1,200 right now, which is good. And really what I was looking for is just allowing this overall trend to sort of make its move down. There was really no good opportunities up here until we finally had this level, this level, this level tested again. I was looking for an underside retest up here, but we also look like we have a trend to watch here as well, which we could look to maybe get a response off of the overside on. So I don't want to reduce my risk to 0. I'm going to look for that level to be responded off of. Hopefully we continue to make our move down, but overall good position. Looking for this to dump. Finally got my coffee, which was good. So hopefully we continue to move down, but otherwise we have no risk on the table and we're already up 3K on the day. It's not a bad start. This move didn't fully break down and now it's actually coming up. It would have been a full stop loss, but that's why we reduced risk. Basically with this strategy and just in day trading in general, like we got our technical response, we read that really nicely, but we can't make it so that the market's always going to do exactly what we say it's going to do when it plays out. So we just want to get good technical entries, let the market play in our favor and trend follow. This just whiplash reversed back up and continued our uptrend. And so we took the trade off for a break even. We're going to go ahead, let this trend sort of develop a little bit more, try to take trade number 3. No harm, no foul, still up 3,100 on the day. So let's see what we can find next. All right, so I'm logged both the trades. I actually lost $17 on the other trade, even though it's break even. I'm marking it as break even, but based off of slippage and fees, everything, I did lose a little bit. Trade 3 now, I'm looking, we have, this is a pretty high impact area, but we do have this resistance, and then price broke with a high impact. So I want to see this level be properly tested. We have an overside sort of insurance policy with some support levels here. So I'm hoping that we can get a bounce point down to here and then continue moving up. So I'm looking, fishing for an order here. We're still up 3,000 on the day. So I'm going to let this trade come to fruition. Hopefully we can hop into this trade. All right, we just dipped dipped into that quick response off of that level, which is really nice to see. Hopefully we continue to move in this direction now. So good initial response. Let's see how good the move is now. Okay, good. So this is what I'm talking about. When you start to get momentum and then you have these change of character levels and then you have an overside retest, you can see price really just wicked in and filled my order and then just immediately reversed around. Now, we don't know if this is going to follow through, which is part of the whole element of day trading that I'm talking about. But what we do know is that like you can say whatever you want about supply and demand, technical analysis, whatever. I'm showing you right now in real time, hey, this is the area I'm going to target and why. I target it, it fills it, and then flips. So these really are good levels to just get yourself into trades on, and you can really cherry pick and sort of snipe these trend levels. So what I'm doing now is I'm waiting for this high level to be broken. I am thinking about reducing my risk down to break even now because I don't really want to let this sort of hang out. I might reduce my risk by half here just so that if this comes down, I'm not really looking to have this do something like this and then reverse. Take some risk off the table. Hopefully this trend continues to play out and we get a nice little push, but good entry so far. Come on, talk too much shit. That's what happens when you talk too much shit. You think you're a sniper and then you just get absolutely murked. Damn. And I lost more than I was hoping. You see that? Never talk about the trade. Anyways, good technical entry. This came down. I wanted to let this sort of catch some support potentially off of this higher level, but just came right down through. So I'm going to quickly, looks like we got some momentum shift in the market. I'm going to quickly look to potentially take another trade here. Unfortunately, we just took a full loss on the other trade. So part of the game. All right, so market started to consolidate a little bit into the afternoon. I was getting some work done, wanted to see if there was going to be any momentum in any direction. And you can see over these highs here, we had price push up significantly, create that change of character, that sort of breakout that I'm looking for. And then we have this support level that was broken up on, testing the underside of this level. Okay, and so I took an entry position here, pretty tight stop loss. This could come out and stop us out, but we're already up 2,300 on the day. I want to continue to take some risk here. So it looks like we're getting a good initial response. Hopefully we can reduce risk and hopefully get this price action to move in our direction nicely, break over this high and continue trending for the day. But this is position number 4. Let's see how it goes. Looks like price is starting to come back down and test this level. So we're going to need some momentum, obviously, but hopefully we get a turnaround. Otherwise, we're taking different positions for no reason. Really, realistically, not looking good for this trade. I know it's now coming back up to entry, but this pattern, it looks like it's bearish. So it is what it is. All right, so we're out of our position for a contained loss, which is fine. A little frustrating. I thought we were going to have momentum off of that, but I guess not. So we got to book in another loss here. But I think that there's a good lesson in this. I have a 25% win rate, and I've basically just been losing now for the rest of the afternoon, but still up $1,700 on the day. So now we're getting a push out of this level. So it's leaving behind another fair value gap here that looks really actionable. So right here off of this trend retest, we're getting a buy signal. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a position here. Wow, really screwed me out of that one. Okay, so I'm going to try to enter in here. All right, let's see if this can come down and fill us. So we got a nice move here, but never pulled back into our fair value gap. This move has kind of already played out in my opinion. Yeah, I could wait for this to kind of come back, but not super interested in sort of letting this move play out and then trying to get back in. So I'm going to nullify this trade idea. All right, so just a little disappointed in this session in general. Price is sort of just moving up for the whole session as I predicted on the first trade, but I took the trade off the table. It wouldn't have been that much more still, but it's like annoying going back and forth. So right now I'd be going to the gym. I think I'm going to pass on the gym. Still getting gains though. I'm going to pack. I'm mentoring with the private team here at 6, so from 6 to 7 maybe we'll be in a trade, maybe not, but we're going to work with the team. And then from 7 I'm going to catch a train here and I'll actually continue trading on the train. So right now let's pack up. I'm so used to living out of suitcases I don't even put my socks away anymore. All right, so I just set this trade idea up. We have a sell here, change of character, so I'm going to see if we can push up into here and then eventually break this trend. Yeah, so look, we missed our entry by this much, and then we had this whole move down, which would have put us up another almost 7 risk factors. Great ideas today, but so far we're just missing things by little bits, which is going to happen in trading. Okay, anyone who's showing you hitting perfect levels every single time is just lying to you. So this is really the reality. Overall, our ideas are good, our risk containment is good, and we let our winners run. So I have a feeling we're going to find another good setup here. Finish up packing. Yeah, things are looking good. I still have faith on having a good day. Okay, so sitting down here again, unfortunately, like we saw while we missed our entry here on this trade, that would have been like a beautiful trade, but I waited for this trend to sort of break out and then establish and give us that nice actionable area. And I was able to tap into an entry here off of the potential support I was anticipating. Went a little bit light into this position accidentally, but still looking really good. So I'm trying to get a little bit more units filled, but I'm gonna sort of watch this position now, see if we can get a nice trade out of this. All right, so now I'm in my whole position. We got retested here again, but the fact that it's retesting it, maybe not necessarily great, but we'll see if we can catch support here. So the trade we just took got stopped out. Just decided to nick me through here, and now we're back in profit. So today the ideas are there, it's just the execution is a little bit off. So this does sometimes happen. There is such a thing as over trading. I usually have a rule with myself where if I take 3 trades in a row that are losses, I'll cut it for the day. I just took 3 in a row now. I'm gonna keep myself open to be really selective and try to take an A+ setup before I get on the train, or as I'm on the train, we'll look at some setups and see if we can let that sort of play out. Ideally, I wanna go up on the day, right? Before this, we were up 1,700. Now we're probably up 1,000 with an under 20% win rate. So these days do happen, but I still want to end up on top. We maybe got a few more trades left in us, so we're going to see. But for now, I'm going to get ready for mentoring, meet with my team, see if we can find trade number 6. So I took a few trades on the train while I was heading back to celebrate my birthday. I want to go over these trades to just sort of show you how the session ended up wrapping up. And there's something really important that I also want to share with you just overall about trading. It was really shown in this session. Okay, so let's dive in and look at the trades that we were able to take over the past day. So I took 6 total trades, and there's something, like I said, really important to show you as we chip away through these trades. I'm going to sort of recap the ideology over the whole session. Right, so this gray area is obviously our 8 a.m. zone. So I was waiting for a break in trend in that opportunity zone that I always talk about. Okay, so we had a push out, we had actionable fair value gap support over here. Additionally, my Elliott wave was showing me we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 261.8 projection was perfectly hit at this low point, which was giving me conviction like this is a major swing point, right? So once we saw price dip into here, beautiful entry, and then I was able to ride this up. I maintained my patience. It moved a little bit higher, but overall maintained my patience to take profit into strength here, which is really good, and got that 6.7 R. So immediately locking in a little over $3,000, risking 500 as the first trade of the day. So I was able to be really hyper aggressive from that point on to try to maximize how much I could make for the day. On this next trade, I was basically stalking this overall trend. We finally had a break underneath here, kind of retested it, broke it again, and then retested it a second time, which didn't really indicate too much strength necessarily, but we did have this pretty actionable fair value gap again with resistance here, here, and here. So I liked this as an entry. We did get our fill pushed up really nicely, broke down underneath here. Once we broke underneath this level, I'm reducing my risk down. Okay, so we didn't quite get to the 1 to 4. We got like a little bit under 1 to 3 at one point, and then price just reversed back up. Okay, so that was a break-even trade. Technically, I lost $17, but break-even trade. All right, next trade was geared around this level breaking. So I was like, okay, if it's gonna get nice and strong, we got this critical level breaking, which is something that I want to. Anytime you're getting these pushes, this is something I'm always watching. High level, high level. Didn't really test it there. Tested it here and then broke through it. So I'm like, okay, support's gonna be along this level, this level, this level here, and then we have our fair value gap right here. All right, so I'm looking at other things, obviously, like indicators that I can't share just openly on YouTube fully. It's for the private team, but comes back down. We wicked beautifully into this right here, got our reversal, things were looking good, and then markets didn't clear this high for me to reduce risk, and then just dumped down and retested this trend level. Normally what I'm doing is waiting for retests of the opposite level that align with the fair value gap. Obviously you can see if that was a situation, we did get a response off of that, which, you know, for people who say that supply and demand or support and resistance strategies don't work, I don't know what to tell you. I didn't follow it here. So this was a loss. I lost a little bit more than I was hoping because the candle just moved really quickly. So I lost like $700. Okay, so that brought us down to about 2,300 on the day. All right, next trade that I took was similar concept again, breaking over these high levels. Nice, actionable, juicy fair value gap into this area here. I was anticipating we would get maybe a retest and then a continuation off of that trend level. Okay, turns out generally I was right. Kind of just went through and invalidated that level real quick. I had a pretty tight stop loss. So I was being fairly aggressive. And then we did end up getting a nice move like 1 to 6. So it could have been like another $3,000 in profit. But instead we lost $643. Once again, this is the reality. This is what most people aren't going to show you on YouTube. They're just going to be like simple strategy that I follow every day that works 100% of the time. This is day trading. Like any day trader that's telling you that they're winning all the time is not, and they're lying. This is a game of probabilities. And this is sort of what I'm leading into that's really, really important to show you. So this was the next trade. Once again, didn't really have an A+ setup because we didn't have this trend level being tested on the opposite side into our fair value gap. Those are like the best setups tapped in, got a little bit of a reversal. Turns out that this had a bearish fair value gap that would have been like this massive move down. Can you imagine? Like this short position, right? Risk over that level probably would have just given us like another 1 to 6, but some of these moves are really going to move, and that's like where the runners really can push, like these 16R, 30R. Okay, people on our private team are always showing like 30Rs and 60Rs, like crazy stuff. So unfortunately missed that one. So I took another loss of 619 on that trade. All right, and then this was the trade that I took in the train, which by the way was a nightmare. Like I love working in the train, but trying to get a VPN on, internet connection, and then trading off of a laptop, definitely not the move. So I did actually get a pretty good entry. So we had our trend level pushing up, fair value gap right here, price tapped into it, reversed down. Okay, off of this reversal and then rejection, considering I was in the train, I didn't want to have like any technical issues, so I reduced my risk after this point down to just over this high here, and then price just absolutely pushed back up through it and ended up ripping. So, but this is really what I wanted to share with you guys. Okay, I had one win in the beginning of the day and then proceeded to just lose the trades for the rest of the day. I had a 16% win rate. So I was losing basically every single one of my trades, but because I was able to let my winners run, okay, I still ended up, all said and done, up around $1,000 on the day, which definitely isn't one of my best days. I like to hit, you know, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in a session. Okay, but still, for having a terrible session ending up 1,000, that's really where I want to be putting myself, so that when I do have these runners, I'm able to really scale the account up and then be able to pull distributions off of it. So you don't need to be right. Losing a trade doesn't make it a bad trade, and winning a trade doesn't make it a good trade. It's all about following the process, being able to stick to it, and making sure that you're tracking your data and being consistent. That's what's worked. So I wanted to share that and document my live trading with you guys. As always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to know when I drop these. Also, if you want any of these tools, you can go in the description, follow me on Instagram, DM me the word tools, and I'll send it out to you. If you want to watch other live trade videos, I'll put them right here. But until next time, guys, I will see you all in the next video.